Since 1997, the Citizens Environmental Coalition of Houston has honored local individuals and organizations for environmental service at the annual Synergy Awards celebration. Today, we are proud to announce the honorees of the 10th Annual Synergy Awards. Simply stated, Buffalo Bayou Partnership is a nonprofit organization that oversees improvements to Buffalo Bayou. With tireless Green Team volunteers, the partnership has conducted dozens of cleanups and restoration projects to improve habitat quality and biodiversity within the Bayou corridor. Creating awareness of the Bayou as a sightseeing attraction and an ecological treasure is the goal of the partnership's varied educational programs that include KBR Kids Day on Buffalo Bayou, second Saturday of the month boat cruises, the Buffalo Bayou Pontoon Boat Tour, Bats on the Bayou, history boat tours, Buffalo Bayou kayak trips, and family nights on Blue Bayou that feature stargazing, boat rides, and storytelling. Among its many other accomplishments, the partnership counts research programs, Buffalo Bend Nature Park, the Adopt a Spot program, and a comprehensive vegetation management plan. Based in Houston, Transocean is the world's largest offshore drilling contractor and a founding partner of the SERPENT project. Dr. Ian Hudson, Corporate Environmental Advisor for Transocean, is the founding director of the project, which puts oceanographers and marine biologists in touch with pilots of the remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, found on most offshore oil rigs and drill ships. These unmanned submarines that perform underwater work for major oil companies are now helping the scientific community get a close-up look at the behavior of deep-sea creatures. The first mission in 2002 on the Transocean Leader offshore Scotland identified many new species and behaviors that no one had ever seen before. Current missions include a partnership with the Smithsonian Institute to search for giant squid and carrying out the first ever ROV census in deepwater offshore Venezuela. In the Gulf of Mexico, SERPENT has worked to provide a most wanted poster for ROV operators to identify certain Gulf of Mexico species of scientific interest. Lorraine Cherry is the powerhouse behind the movement that saved the 21-acre West 11th Street Park from development. But preserving the largest remaining native Texas forest inside the 610 Loop has not been a bed of roses. In 2006 alone, Friends of West 11th Street Park engaged in funding programs, built a website for the park, published a color brochure about the superb natural history opportunities the park affords, arranged projects for volunteer groups in the park, organized a spring nature walk, and held a fall event entitled Green Day in the Park to raise awareness about the park and its associated fundraising drive. Perhaps the group's most skillful achievement was establishing and maintaining solid relationships with the City of Houston, Houston Parks and Recreation Department, Houston Parks Board, and the Houston Independent School District, a human reflection of the cooperation seen among the furred and feathered citizens of West 11th Street Park. Richard Lindsay, Senior Project Executive in the Bond Fund Program Department of Houston Independent School District, is responsible for prompting 2 pilot tests in the design and construction of 2 schools using LEED, or Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, criteria as a guide. The 2 HISD LEED pilot projects are Walnut Bend Elementary and Ruby Thompson Elementary. While the buildings are not yet LEED certified by the U.S. Green Building Council, they are registered with the council, have been designed and constructed following LEED criteria, and are awaiting certification. Some of the advantages these schools will offer are lower operating costs and increased asset value, healthier and more comfortable environments for occupants, reduced waste sent to landfills, water and energy savings, and lower greenhouse gas emissions. Living Smart is a weekly half-hour interview and news magazine program that airs on Houston PBS and focuses on personal well-being. Living Smart covers spiritual, financial, personal, mental, physical, emotional, educational, and environmental aspects of well-being. Some of the guests have included Laverne Williams, Kath Conlon, Juan Paris, and Dan Phillips. The show featuring Juan Paris focused on environmental justice, exploring the ways in which highways, chemical plants, and other industrial facilities affect our health. Also highlighted were his successes in bringing politicians and corporations together with members of the community to make real and lasting improvements. In another episode of Living Smart, Dan Phillips, founder of the Phoenix Commotion, explained how less fortunate people can build homes of their own from recycled materials. He shows how this company works to break the cycle of waste by diverting excess building materials into the construction of low-income housing. Since taking office in 2004, Mayor Bill White has started and supported many environmentally focused initiatives that benefit Houstonians every day. Through the Power to the People campaign and program, Mayor White established partnerships with corporate sponsors to educate Houstonians on options to reduce energy consumption and save money this summer. In other programs for 2007, the city partnered with Abitibi Consolidated and H-E-B Grocers to increase the number of recycling drop-off locations in Houston. Another partnership, this time with the American Leadership Forum, the Houston Texans, and the Houston Astros, brought recycling to sporting events. Mayor White also led the city in contracting for nearly 200 million kilowatt hours of renewable energy and created a voluntary benzene reduction plan for major point sources. Under his management, the City Council has adopted ordinances to preserve historic buildings and neighborhoods and to require developers to set aside or contribute to purchasing land for parks. Mort Lawler has led the Galveston Island Nature Tourism Council to a position of prominence and respect within Texas and across the United States. Through his hard work, Mort has created a unique and well-known birding festival, Featherfest. In addition to this annual awareness-raising event, Mort has also helped the Trust for Public Land raise funds for the purchase of acreage at McAllis Point, one of the last large undeveloped tracts on Galveston Island's west end. For another project, the Mayor and City Council of Galveston have passed a resolution to partner with the Galveston Island Nature Tourism Council to raise funds for a world-class East End Lagoon Nature and Recreation Preserve. Now Mort is serving on the East End Preserve Steering Committee. Having this preserve south of the seawall is a major win for the city of Galveston, for people concerned with nature, and for the creatures that inhabit the area. The Trust for Public Land, or TPL, is a national nonprofit organization that conserves land for people to enjoy as parks, community gardens, or other natural places, ensuring livable communities for generations to come. In 2002, Program Director Linda Shead opened the Houston-Galveston office and launched a new TPL program with funding from the Galveston Bay Estuary Program and local foundations. TPL's work in this region has grown and evolved into the Saving Our Coastal Heritage Program and the Southeast Texas Program. TPL's programs here assist local governments in the Houston-Galveston area and along the Texas coast with conservation transactions, conservation finance, and conservation visioning, plus education and outreach, all with the goal to protect lands and waters and to provide public enjoyment and access to these key natural areas. At 8 a.m. on Saturday, January 27, 2007, despite the rain, thousands of volunteers rolled up their sleeves, grabbed their shovels, and began planting more than 20,000 trees along the Esplanades on Will Clayton Parkway. Mayor Bill White and Congressman Ted Poe supported this project with cooperation from the Houston Parks and Recreation Department, the Texas Department of Transportation, Trees for Houston, and many others. Some of the benefits that will be derived from the Will Clayton Reforestation Project on a yearly basis include the removal of an estimated 2,800 pounds of air pollutants, including ozone and sulfur dioxide, and the reduction in emissions from not having to use gas mowers that's estimated at more than 1,000 pounds of air pollutants. With the assistance of 1,500 volunteers, corporate sponsorship, and nonprofit support, this was the largest volunteer tree planting in Houston's history. As the executive director of Urban Harvest, Dr. Randall heads up this nonprofit organization dedicated to strengthening communities through gardening education. Among Urban Harvest's many activities are programs for creating gardens at schools for education, in neighborhoods for community growth, and at places of worship for donation to feed the hungry. The organization's Bayou City Farmers Market supports local small-scale farmers while giving urban dwellers access to fresh produce not found in supermarkets. Dr. Randall was one of the first in our area to promote sustainable land use and earth-friendly horticultural practices. His book, Year-Round Vegetables, Fruits, and Flowers for Metro Houston, convinced many area gardeners to try new crops and employ the principles of organic gardening. This concludes our presentation of the 2007 Synergy Awards. We thank our sponsors who have made this recognition possible, and we encourage all of you to watch during the coming year for likely candidates for next year's celebration.